Hi, I'm Trish. Welcome back to my kitchen. It is a cold and rainy night here in the Pacific Northwest, and I could use some serious comfort food. One of my very favorite things is pasta, and I make it homemade. Once you've tried this, you won't go back to the boxed pasta ever. It is so delicious. All you need is flour and an egg. Those are the basic ingredients. I've got a cup of flour here, an egg mixed with about a teaspoon of water. I've got half of a teaspoon of salt, some olive oil, and spinach. The spinach is not critical. I just like the taste of it, so I like to add that in for extra color and nutrition. What we're gonna do first is mix our flour and our salt with the mixer, and it's loud, so I'm not gonna turn that on until I'm done talking. Then after those dry ingredients are combined, we'll add our egg, then our oil, and last we'll put in our spinach. Here's our ball of pasta. It is now ready to be shaped. It's important that we let it sit and rest for a little bit. We want to give it about 20 minutes, and I'm not sure of the chemical reaction that takes place. I just know that it's easier to roll out if it does have that time to rest. Our pasta is still chilling out in the fridge, and I've decided that I'm in the mood for ravioli. So I'm going to mix some mozzarella cheese, some ricotta cheese, some Parmesan, a little bit of cream cheese, and I like it to have a nice herby taste, so I'm going to put some dried thyme in there. And a sprinkle of color, I'll add some dried parsley. We'll mix all this up. And I say this all the time, but you don't need a mixer to achieve this. Most of the things that I do on my channel, I've been making for at least 20 years. And I only bought the mixer 3 years ago. It was a present to myself when my husband and I bought the bed and breakfast. I figured that I would be cooking on a larger scale, and it might be nice to have something to make the job easier. Okay, this has had about 20 minutes. I am going to flour my surface, and I use a cutting board. This is not an unmessy project. It's gonna be messy. And I want to put a good amount of flour on here, and I'm also gonna sprinkle some through my machine. I'm going to shape this into a ball, and I will cut it into 4 equal as I can make it pieces. I'm going to pat these and make them into balls, and then I'm going to pat them in flour on each side. This will help them slide through the machine easier. If you're using a KitchenAid, I always start on the first setting. That one is the thickest and widest. I'm going to run the pasta through twice. I let each one rest and then I move it to setting 2. I'm going to do this all the way up to setting 4 because we're making ravioli. We've decided on ravioli for our pasta, and I've pre-mixed the cheese. It's ideal to have a melon baller, but I don't own one of those. So I have the next size up of a scoop, and that is for cookies. I'm gonna fill that about halfway, and I will put a little scoop of cheese on here. And I want to emphasize, as I always do, you do not need fancy equipment to cook. All you need is enthusiasm. We've made sure that our strips are approximately the same length and width. So I'm going to place the cheese on here. We want to give ourselves room to lay the other sheet of pasta on top. It is kind of a lot of work, but it's also kind of fun too. If you have a weekend day off and you have children, this is a nice activity that you can do together. And I think kids are more enthusiastic about eating things that are good for them if they help prepare them. I am going to take this and put a little bit of water on my pasta down the center because I want this to stick together. And we're going to make it kind of gluey. A pastry brush works really well, but you know that I don't have a lot of extra things. Just the basics. I cook a lot like my grandmother did. Okay, there we go. I'll lay this on top. And you want to press this down and cement it to the other sheet. Next, I'm going to take this little round cookie cutter and I'm going to cut out my raviolis. Isn't this gorgeous? Look how cute those are. My husband watches my videos and he says I use the word gorgeous entirely too much. But the food is pretty. Being excited to eat, you've got to have it be aesthetically pleasing. And I like creating things that have beautiful colors and a wonderful aroma. And to me, it is gorgeous. Perfection. Look at those. Now I'm going to take my fork and I'm going to press the edges so it doesn't come apart when we put these in the boiling water. These can go in the freezer if you're not going to eat them all on the same day you make them. And this is why it's a fun weekend project to do with your kids, because you can put these together on a Sunday and then that's a Tuesday night dinner for you. If you don't have a little cookie cutter, of course, there's always a workaround. I use a knife sometimes, and you can just make square ones. Now, we've got this whole big leftover ball of pasta dough. And if you were taking a pasta class in Italy, they would tell you to throw it out. I would never throw out perfectly good foods. Our pasta is shaped and ready to go. We are almost ready to eat. This tray I'm going to put in the freezer, and when these are frozen, I will put them into a Ziploc baggie for later. This tray is going to go into a pot of boiling water. Now, my method for boiling pasta and making it perfect every time, if the pasta is thawed, I bring salty water to a full rolling boil, add my pasta, turn the water off, and cover the pot. You're going to let it soak for 4 minutes, and it's perfect every time. This is a fun idea if you have company coming. You can make one type of pasta and have 6 different kinds of sauces and have a pasta bar. A word of warning on the reusing the pasta dough that was left over from when we cut and shaped our raviolis. You can run it through one more time, but it won't work twice. So after you've made your second batch of ravioli from your leftovers and you still have leftover pasta, you either need to throw that out or you can roll it out and cut it into ribbons, but it will not hold together if you put it through the mill one more time. So 2 times yes, 3 times no. Now, let's get this on the stove and we'll boil it and see what it looks like. Our water's boiling, so we're going to remove the lid. I added a lot of salt, probably 2 tablespoons. And we're going to carefully lower these in. There we go. Now we just let them steam for 4 minutes. Here it is. This is our browned butter and rosemary spinach ravioli. It was so easy, and I made extra, so on nights that I'm busy, I can just throw that in a pot, and it's a quick 10-minute meal. I hope you make this, and I hope you love it. Bon appetit!